In this lesson, I'd like to show you how to play 3 melodic cells and take them through the diminished scale. If you'd like to get the tab PDF notation for all the examples that I'm going to be talking about, then you can do so by following me and supporting me on my Patreon page. If you're new to jazz guitar and you'd like a detailed guide on how to get started learning jazz, then please check out the link below to my free beginner jazz guitar course. I'm going to show you each of these diminished cells in the key of C to make these as easy as possible to digest. Here is the first example. The first example starts on the tonic. I'm keeping all of these in the key of C just to make things easy. Then we're going to go down a second, up a fourth, then down a second again. So in time. Now this starts on a C. Then the same idea is moved up a tritone, right? So we've got then up a tritone from C is the note G flat. And we're going to play the same idea where we can start on G flat, go down a second, up a fourth, and then down a second again. So the 2 tetrachords played in succession sound like this. And we can keep that going if we like to the next octave of C. So that's the first tetrachord. Let's now have a listen to the second diminished cell. The second cell starts on the note C on the high E string. We'll then go up a semitone and down a third. I really like to think of this as being based off diminished 7 arpeggios, to be honest. Because what I like to think is basically that the whole half diminished scale has 2 diminished 7 arpeggios which are a semitone apart. So really in my mind I'm just chromatically approaching each note of a D flat diminished arpeggio from a semitone below. Like that, that's the start of the lick. So the entire lick played nice and slowly and evenly so you can hear it should sound like this. Let's now have a listen to cell 3. Cell 3 is a sonistic idea that starts on the tonic on the 5th fret of the G string. This one is a really nice idea that you can move up in minor thirds. So you start by playing a C note, go up a semitone, back down a semitone, and then down a second. You can move this up in minor thirds on 1 string set so it sounds like this. Once you've learnt the melodic cells, I'd like you to try and use some of the ideas across the entire scale. For example, the sonistic idea we just looked at started on the note C. We can move that down a minor third. And cover more positions across the guitar neck. You could even play that across different string sets as well to really utilise the full idea. You could also do the same thing with cell 1. So if you remember, cell 1 was just a short idea that I started on the middle string set that sounded like this. So if we move that down an octave, why don't we try and continue using that throughout an entire scale? So played slowly, that would sound like this. And then played at speed. The last thing that I'd like you to do with each of these diminished cells is to practice resolving them. So you can basically see these as being 4-note patterns. So if I once again use cell 1, now if you play the first 4 notes from that, you could think of these as being in say C7, right? You could be thinking of these over a C altered chord. I guess the chord that technically fits the job is something like a C13 with a flat 9 or something like that, but any altered chord will work. So if we look at one cell, use your ears and listen where that wants to resolve to. So one way in which that could resolve is if you're resolving the 5 chord to its 1 chord, which in this key is F, you could resolve this idea to the 5th of F major, right? Let's now look at cell 3, which was the sonistic idea. If we just take the first 4 notes of this cell, they finish on B flat, which is the 7th in C7. If you ask me, that B flat really sounds like it could drop to the 3rd of the 1 chord and give us a nice 5-1 idea. You can also vary these rhythms, so you might want to add in a triplet or some 16th notes. And maybe you could, once you know that that's going to fall to the 3rd, you could maybe start the idea from 1 position higher and use that as a longer 5-1 idea. I hope these ideas help you utilise the diminished scale. Like I said, all these examples are covered on the PDF, which is available on my Patreon page. Thank you to all my Patreons that support these videos. If you found this video useful, please subscribe to the channel and click like. Thanks for watching.